Hey y'all, welcome back to Seeing What Sticks. As always, I'm Jonathan Wall, and what we do on this show is we take story ideas and we just kind of go through them a little bit. We talk about some of the points, some of the pros, some of the cons, and we see if we can use them for any potential stories that you might have. Any short stories, any novels, things of that nature. On today's episode, we're talking about kidney stones. Precious kidney stones. Does it stick? Well, let's find out. So I got the idea for this story when I thought of the goose that laid the golden egg. The story goes that a farmer once went to his barn, and when he went to check on his goose, he found that the goose had laid a solid gold egg. Of course, he tested the egg, it was real gold, solid gold through and through, and so he took it to the market, sold it, and made a pretty good amount of money off of it. The next day, the goose laid another golden egg, and again the farmer sold the egg and made more money off of it. Now, this happened every single day for quite a while, and the farmer was slowly becoming more and more wealthy. But he and his wife started to get very greedy, and at some point they got so impatient that they thought, what if we just kill the goose? Like these eggs are coming out of this bird. Why don't we just open the goose up and just take all the eggs that it has inside? Why are we waiting for one egg a day when we can have them all at once? So they go into the barn, they kill the goose, open up its stomach, or open up its womb, because do geese have wombs? They open up the bird, and there were no golden eggs inside. And they never got another golden egg after that because they killed the goose. So, what I was thinking of with my story idea was to turn a human being into a golden goose. Now, of course, people don't lay eggs. And I didn't really want a story where people take golden shits. Nobody wants to read about that. But there is something that people do sometimes produce from their bodies, and that are kidney stones. Now, kidney stones are basically all the solid material that builds up in your kidneys because of a very poor diet. It's often a lot of sodium, a lot of sugars, a lot of other not good for you stuff that solidifies in your kidneys and eventually starts passing through your urinary tract. And it's very uncomfortable, it's very unpleasant, and really the only way to get rid of kidney stones is to piss them out. It has to come out through your pee-pee hole, and that's not pleasant. But I was thinking to myself, what if those stones had value? I mean, what if instead of a chunk of salt, you peed out one of these? This is an amethyst crystal. It's technically a transitional amethyst crystal because the amethyst portion is this purple and this clear portion is clear quartz. Amethyst is a type of quartz, so you can see that it goes from one to the other. I know a little bit about crystals, okay? Leave me alone. Anyways, what would that sort of story look like? Or what would that situation look like if somebody was about to pass a precious gemstone out of their body? Well, first, you have to think of the medical implications in regards to the main character. Our MC is trying to pass a kidney stone. And a normal kidney stone is incredibly painful because it's a crystal that is cutting into the inside of your urinary tract. And that's, on its own, has to hurt. But something that is of value, that's much harder, possibly much larger, that's going to hurt even more. And without serious surgical intervention, it has to come out. It has to go all the way through their body until it finally comes out the end of their pee-pee. And that's going to hurt. So of course, they're not going to enjoy the process at all. It's going to be incredibly painful. It's going to be incredibly uncomfortable. Well, painful, uncomfortable. It's going to be inconvenient, obviously. They're going to be stuck in the hospital. And when this stone finally passes, what are they supposed to do with it? I mean, does the hospital get to claim it as collateral for or as payment for keeping the patient in their hospital? You know, for taking up a hospital bed, do they get to use the crystal as payment? Does the hospital get to throw it away because it's considered medical waste, just like removing a foreign object from a person's body? What about the family? If this person, what happens if this patient dies and the kidney stone, this precious kidney stone, the diamond in their freaking urinary tract, who gets to claim it? Is it, again, is it the hospital because it's technically some sort of medical waste? Does the family because it's technically one of the main character's possessions? I mean, does this character even get to the hospital? If people see this person as a golden egg, if kidney stones in general were of value, not just an exception, where, oh, you have a kidney stone, let's do an x-ray to see how big it is. Turns out it's a freaking Herkimer diamond, which is very big. A Herkimer diamond can be bigger than my thumbnail. That's how big Herkimer diamonds can be. I mean, what if this person gets kidnapped and basically held prisoner while they're forced to urinate a gigantic stone, which the kidnappers will obviously take and sell or do whatever to it to get the value out of it? I mean, just as a quick side note, can you imagine kidney stone jewelry? I mean, I'm sure that it exists in the real world. I'm sure there's a real ring or pendant that uses someone's actual kidney stone, which is kind of messed up, but you know what? You do you. But imagine this beautiful, dazzling silver piece or golden piece on your finger, and the story is that it came out of someone's hoo-ha. That's incredibly messed up. But, I mean, for the sake of this story concept I have, it might be entirely possible. I mean, there's so many questions you can ask in regards to property rights. Would the person who is passing the kidney stone have a choice as to whether or not they get to keep it, or whether or not somebody else gets to take it? Do they have to pass the stone through their urinary tract for it to be of value, or can it be surgically removed and still be of value? Is it only valuable to the person who actually produced it, or can it be sold and then someone else can maintain the value of it? Could it be traded just like any other precious stone? I don't know. I kind of bounced this idea off a few of my friends, and the first thing they thought of was, "Why are you thinking about that sort of thing, John? You're a bit weird." To which I responded, "Yes, but is it a good idea?" And they were like, kind of. I mean, it's not exactly the goose that laid the golden egg, because the goose continuously laid golden eggs. Birds often lay unfertilized eggs all the time. So, consistent of this valuable substance occurs in the goose story. But with kidney stones, these are one-offs often. I mean, yes, there are people who have very unhealthy diets who produce multiple kidney stones throughout their life. But it's not likely that one person is going to produce more than one or two in their lifetime, if they get any at all. So you might have to treat this more like a one-off. However, because kidney stones may be that rare, it only adds to the rarity of the diamond, or of the material. But as far as the plot is concerned, as far as telling the story, I mean, which direction do you take? Is it a person who has financial issues, who's down on their luck, they're poor, they got bills piling up, and all of a sudden they have this opportunity to make all this money? They could become very wealthy if they just go through this little bit of pain. And with that sort of story, you could probably have some sort of shady character come in promising to stop the pain and take the stone out immediately. But they say, no, I want to pass the stone. I want to go through the full process so that I can keep it and use it. Which would be more so a story of perseverance, overcoming obstacles, maybe delayed gratification because the payoff in the end is worth the pain now. Potentially, potentially. Could it be a kidnapping story where the person is going through the kidney stone issue and they get snatched by a group of, ill-intentioned individuals, and they hold him for ransom until he passes the stone? Could it be more like a family story where it's all infighting? Who gets this person's who gets this person's wealth? Who gets this person's favor? What are they willing to do to their loved one in order to get their newly acquired wealth? Are they going to kiss his ass? Are they going to conspire with the doctors to get the stone to be theirs? There's potential there, I feel. So, we've got to ask ourselves, precious kidney stones, does this stick? I kind of feel it does. I feel like there could be something there. If you take the right spin on it, if you go in the right direction with it, I feel like it can be very, very useful as a story. But, I mean, the idea on its own doesn't sound exciting, but if that's the driving element to the actual story, a story of, you know, perhaps a story of inequality, a story of perseverance, it really does depend on which direction you go. But what do you guys think? Precious kidney stones. Does it stick? Please leave a comment down below, and if you have any ideas for our next episode, please leave those down below as well. And if it's good, I'll use it, and I'll give you a shout out as well. Alright, see y'all.